Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all having a good morning so far. It's Wednesday, August 27th, and we are middle of the week. Looks like the sun's already up where Will is at, but it is still dark here in West Tennessee.
How's everybody doing? How you doing, brother? Good morning. How'd you rest up last night?
Good. Got about 7 hours of sleep, not 3 or 4 like some people try to do. So sleep is very important. Of course, if you're going to have the right energy to tackle your day, right?
That's a good point that you mentioned it. Yeah, it almost carries on from what we talked about on Monday. Like we have a lot of contractors who flex like, oh man, I'm living off of 2 hours of sleep and a whole bunch of gas station energy drinks. So that's definitely something a lot of people are tackling first thing in the morning. So I don't know what they be doing up all night. What do you think keeps people up all night? You think just life, or like that's their only time to relax, so they start going on Instagram, YouTube, and all that stuff? What do you think? What would keep you up? I remember I used to do that, but I was always a TV kind of guy.
It could be several things. It could be, like you said, their free time or their alone time. That's after their family goes to bed. Some people are just night owls. They just like to work on stuff at night. Unfortunately, some contractors are working on bids and estimates till super late at night. But when you don't get enough sleep, it's this whole chain reaction. Okay. When you don't get enough sleep, you are obviously very tired the next day. And then you're also really hungry first thing in the morning. So then what are you going to do? You're going to go to the gas station and get your chicken biscuits and all your stuff that you like to get. And you're going to eat that first thing in the morning. And then you're going to feel like garbage a few hours later. And then you're going to get the energy drinks, and then you're going to get more gas station food. Like you see how like all this stuff's interconnected. If you're not getting enough sleep, then it just screws up the rest of your day.
I didn't think about it like that. It is a downward spiral. And I was, were we talking about that where it's to the point now, like now that we're working on our health because we want to give a better output? It's just like, what type of gas are you putting into your car? I'm thinking now, like on my way home, you know how many times we talk, and I would stop for like a McDonald's or a Wendy's on the way home. And I remember, I think it was you were like, I don't even want that food. Like, I want a good steak at home, right? I want a good this at home. I want some fresh chicken, you know? Instead
Yeah,
of
I
going to
still
all
get
this stuff, like
Chick-fil-A.
on my way home, I thought about making a stop at Wendy's. And just the thought of it, I was like, "Oop, never mind, let me just wait till I get home."
Dude, I can't even tell you the last time I had McDonald's. I can't tell
Really?
you the last
Okay.
time I had Taco Bell. And some people like want to flex that for somehow. I'm just like, dude, you're only hurting yourself, you know?
So true.
So
So
yeah,
true.
health is very important. Just in general, health is very important when it comes to contracting, and people don't think about it a whole lot. But how many contractors do we see out there who start out? They start out and they look like a normal person, and then you get 5-10 years down the road, and they just look like garbage. Overweight, they have dark circles around their eyes, and their life is just all over the place. When contracting, you would think it's supposed to be the other way around. You would think that your life should get better in a lot of ways, that you should have time to go work out at the gym, that you should, um, you know, have all these changes for the better. But instead, we see so many contractors that really just screws up their life, unfortunately,
Yep.
because
I agree.
not because it's contracting. It's not contracting's fault. It's because a lot of us, we have the hard skills, right? We know how to do the work. That's why we went out on our own to begin with, because we knew
Yep.
how to do this stuff. But it's a whole nother animal when you try to run your own business. You start doing things that you never had to do before at your previous job. And we're just winging it because we were never trained in those areas.
Exactly. What do you think about this graphic? That's the one I put up the other day.
That's pretty accurate, and and you know the funny that like the crazy thing is I feel like the guy on the right, that's not like really an over exaggeration. That's like a legit comparison.
Yep. And it just also affects everything, like the eyes, the joy that you once had. How many times have we seen people who love electrical, who love contracting, now
I
hate
don't
the
know. The dude on the
trade,
left don't look happy, but
right? Well,
but
day
yeah, no.
one,
To
he
your
probably
point, though. To
he
your point.
day one, in my opinion, is he just recognized what he signed up for. He's like, oh crap, this is a lot of work,
Mm.
and nothing changes for 30 years. And that's what we've been saying. People are going to jump into contracting for 30 years, and they're going to be doing the same thing over and over again.
Nope.
How are you?
I think my video froze.
Okay.
Hold on, just a
So
second.
yeah, that's what a lot of people don't understand when they come into the trade and they come into contracting. It's that they can lose the joy, they can lose their health, they can lose the thing that they once loved just to bad habits. And bad habits we know affect everything. It's not just work ethic. It's eating, it's sleeping, it's whatever you do to your body to make sure that you get, the end outcome. And if you're going to feed it with crap, you're eventually not just going to look like crap, but that's going to motivate and transcend and transfer over to all these other things that you're outputting.
Yeah. I know a guy personally who had a heart attack in his early 30s. He's a contractor. He had a heart attack, and he wasn't even like 30 something years old because he was throwing down like 4 or 5, maybe even more energy drinks a day.
Mm.
Yep.
And I remember you mentioned about a video coming up, because he is a good example of somebody who takes care of himself, and it's Construction Mentor. Was
Mhm.
there I'm going to pull up his page, but was there a video that you liked in mind that we were going to talk about for today?
I didn't have a video in mind for this. No.
No, just in general. You mentioned that he had in his stories, remember?
Oh yeah, my bad. He had it in his stories, and I don't know where it went. Let me see if I can find it real quick. It may be Office Stories. It probably is gone.
But what I appreciate about
Let's see.
Ike Ryan, if you ever get the chance to reach out to him, his page is Construction Mentor. He's amazing when it comes to breaking down old stigmas. He's amazing when it comes down to bringing a spotlight or putting a spotlight on what the trades have to offer. He's genuinely making videos daily talking about what's the average pay, what you can experience on a typical job site, why there's so many conflict with plumbers, electricians, just everything that revolves around the trades, he has a topic for. So it's pretty interesting. But at the end of the day, he makes some awesome topics, and he actually puts in some points where he wants actually people to like comment on. Like on one of his stories, he'll show up at 4 o'clock in the morning and finish a workout. Like our podcast, we know it's 7 a.m. here, it's 4 a.m. on the West Coast, and my man already finished a freaking 5 mile run. So it just shows you like how serious he takes health, especially when it comes into the trades. So
Yeah, I
if you
don't
guys
know.
haven't given Ryan a follow, go check out his page. He's doing pretty awesome out there. He has some videos that really blew up, that really got his name out there, some of the bigger pages. But Cameron, what was the topic of discussion that you were bringing up?
It was um illegal immigrants in construction in the construction industry.
There you
But
go. That's a good one.
he yeah, I can't find the video. It's gone off the stories, but basically there was this contractor um who I think was also Mexican, but he is a licensed contractor. I don't know what type of contractor he is, but he was basically saying how he feels sorry for the illegals getting deported.
Yep.
But he does not feel sorry for the businesses around him that are shutting down
Mm.
because of basically not hiring legal citizens and just running a shady business overall. And so while he was just saying while he does feel sorry for them and getting deported and not getting paid. There's businesses around him that are shutting down, and these guys were taking work from people like him who are licensed, who are doing everything the right way. And so, Will, I guess first, you were saying that there actually are some states that you are allowed to hire illegal immigrants. Is that correct?
I know that there's some states where you can open up shop as an illegal.
Okay.
I know that is the
But
fact.
I don't know how you'd be able to. I don't know how any state you'd be able to hire anybody illegal legitimately, because you have to have all your paperwork to pay your taxes. So
True, but the same with how do you make an entity based off of
right,
someone
yeah, no,
and
that's
their
true. Maybe it's the same case in those states. So, you're gonna find what an exception here and there
Yep.
that allows for that, but overall, a lot of these employers for years have hired these people who are undocumented. They're not here legally, and they basically built their entire business around the legals. And it doesn't even matter what one thinks about the things that have been going on with that as far as the deportations. The bottom line is that these people have been hiring these illegals, and now they're all getting sent back. And guess what?
Mm,
Now they don't have anybody to freaking do the work, you know?
yep.
So
And I was thinking about that too. When it comes down to it, I was just genuinely thinking. And when we talk about the skilled trades as a whole, when we talk about construction, a lot of people, and once again, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone sits where they want to sit. But as a contractor, as a business person, I have some feelings when it comes to when people say they're taking jobs Americans don't want. True or not? You heard that phrase? Like, why bother them? They're taking jobs that people don't want. Have you heard that phrase before?
yeah, I think so.
When it comes to hiring and the illegals, they're doing the jobs that nobody else would take. So that's why they're like, are you going to clean the toilets? Are you going to cut the grass? A lot of people use that as the buffer. And even though that may be true, my thing is a lot of people may take that work if they weren't so low bid or if it was low paying. Why is it low paying? It's because the contractor has low cost because they're hiring illegals, if that makes sense. You know, you're not seeing big projects getting done by companies who are running 90% that way. You
Mm.
have to have some type of structure, you have to have some type of foundation to build on if you're going to scale to that level. Honestly, where I'm from, here in the Northeast, out west, what are some of the types of jobs that you're going to see uh, these immigrants take? You're going to see them taking the lawn care, the masonry, the wood framing, the drywall patching, handyman style type of work, right? Because
Mm.
one, they don't require a licensure, it doesn't require a test. Once again, we understand there's some states out there that vary, but for the most part, they're doing physical labor work that doesn't require licensure, even though it falls under the umbrella of blue collar. It's not typically a skilled trade, but at the same time, think about it. I have individuals who cut my grass and it's every 2 weeks and it's like $40 every 2 weeks and they're here for like 2 hours. In my head, in math, that doesn't make sense. Why? If gasoline, all you know what I mean, is 350 a pop,
Yeah.
how are they doing this at they have to be doing it at volume. But at the same time, if you're going to do things at volume, your major costs have to be low. What's your cost? Gas, equipment you can pay off pretty quickly. Gas is a recurring everyday thing. The number one expenditure you're going to have is labor force. So if you can cut that cost down, you can then transfer that over to homeowners in a price. But then that also goes to the next conversation. Okay, that's true, or hey, that's open up for an argument. But what do you think, Cameron? Do you think someone's going to want to pay $500 per lawn to get a cut at the same time.
Of course
You
not.
see,
No.
it's that balance. You have to understand what you're doing. You know what I mean? If you want an American cutting your grass, guess what? You're paying 401k, you're paying taxes. That lawn now costs you $500. Sure or
Exactly.
not?
Yeah. So really, the employers have created this problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. At now, can you say they were giving people opportunities? Yes. But can you say it also drives down value of what a project should cost? Look at a stonemasoner, right? They do some beautiful. You see the landscaping, the hardscaping we're doing at our house. It's beautiful work, right?
Yep.
Yet it's affordable because with the immigrants, the contractors want to use. So you have to decide on who's doing the work and what's at the end of the day, what's everyone's intent.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
I would like to be devil's advocate, because when someone says that, they're giving them opportunity, right? We hear opportunity. Well, what do you mean by that? Because it given the opportunity to work, because they can go work somewhere else. I think a lot of times it's not all rosy, because these employers are taking advantage of the illegal immigrants, and then they use opportunity as leverage over them and basically control them, and they'll do whatever they say, or else they'll freaking get them sent back. So, um, I think a lot of times that's what's going on. You can mask it like, oh, it's opportunity, but that's not how they're
yeah.
getting treated. They're not getting treated that good, in my opinion.
Oh wow. Okay, that's a good way to put it down. But then at the end of the day, it falls under the intent of the contractor, of the business owner,
Yep.
right? At
Yep.
the end of the day, that's with everything. I feel like, what's the intent? True or not? You know what I mean? You could have some even goes down to Bible principle. What's the intent of that type of message? You know what I mean? Your tongue could be used to build. It can also be used to tear down. What's the intent behind the tongue? It's not the tongue's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how are you going to use it? Are you going to use it to uplift, upbuild, or tear down? So that's the same thing as a contractor, or anyone who's listening who's thinking about jumping into contracting. You have to make that decision for yourself. What type of business do you want to run? What's the intent behind everything you do? Are you looking to cut costs so you can give an affordable price? Or are you looking to hire these guys so that you can make more profit? True or not?
Right. And I think every contractor should, for just a lack of better terms, just do business the right way. Just do everything the right way. Don't run anything shady. Stop trying to hide funds and buying stuff that's not a business expense, and then you sell it off and get cash for it. Like, if you always do it the right, like do business the right way, if you're running your business legitimately and honestly and truthfully, you're gonna sleep good at night knowing that, hey, I have nothing to worry about. I'm doing everything right. Um, and I think that's where sometimes we try to cut corners to save a dollar, and it's really not worth it, because it's going to come back and get you later. You know what I'm saying?
It always does. It always does. And then that's a good segue because we talked about in the beginning habits. We talked about how there's good habits, there's bad habits. And just like you can have bad habits that lead to bad health, bad sleeping, you can have some bad work habits as well, especially as a
Mhm.
contractor. You want to make sure that those habits align with the type of business that you want to end up having. And I understand there's wartime, just like there's wartime in the Bible, there's a wartime in the world where rules are set aside now because you
Sure.
can't paint everything in straight lines.
Sure.
So
Yep.
same in business. I know there's times in the beginning where everything's moving around. You know what I mean? How many times someone gives you cash, are you going to put that on QuickBooks? You know what I mean? So it happens. It happens. We know that's there. We know that happens. It would be foolish to just act naive. But at the same time, you want to make sure that that doesn't become a pattern and then becomes your sole intent of business. Now I'm only going to do cash jobs, or now I'm only going to pay off the tables, or I'm only going to do this for the credit report. You understand? And then at the end of the year, it doesn't help you, or you stay stagnant because guess what? Like you said, spend all this money so I don't look like I made a profit this year. All right, then you had a business for the last 30 years that never made a profit. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
You
People
know
who
what I
think like
mean?
that don't know how to do math. That's really
Yeah.
dumb.
Don't you have to spend like close to like double
You
to
spend
just
way
get
more.
10%?
Yeah, the whole thing of I'm gonna write this off, dude, you're spending like 3 times more money doing it that way, and you
That's
on
if you do it the right way. That's if you do it the right way. You have to spend like double to 3 times. You know,
yes.
for you to get 70,000 off, you have to like spend like uh 200 out.
Yeah, how does that make any sense? And then your business looks horrible on paper every year. And then guess what? If you want to sell your business, oh wait, you can't really sell it for that much because your business has done horrible
And not only that,
for the past 20 years.
yeah, and then not just that, now you have no liquid cash for the next year.
Yep.
Because I know I did it when my second, third year, we blew some cash. You know, I told you some things that we bought. But then you don't have that liquid capital for the beginning of the year. You know what I mean? That you could have just sat around.
Yep.
So you could have kept that 100K, spent it, and said, "Oh, it's a write off," or I can have that 100K and be say like, you know what, screw it, just pay 25K on top of it, right?
Yeah, duh.
Keep 75, and now I got 75 liquid cash. So it really depends. Once again, it goes back to the person and what they're planning at the end of the day. But what do you think when it comes out down to habits again? For the ones who may be listening to keep in their mind, if today is a new day, they're waking up, they decide, hey, you know, I got to stop this partying, I got to start this late night stuff. You know, what do you think a lot of people couldn't do or couldn't learn when it comes to habits?
Have systems, have a plan every day. Because I think that why people end up in this cycle of unhealthiness, physically, and then their business is kind of scattered all over the places because they don't have a system for anything. They just keep it up here mentally, and they try to operate day to day by remembering and kind of just going with the flow and winging it. And when you do that and you have no plan, then you're just reacting all the time, right? Because stuff's going to come up that wasn't part of your plan, right? Every single day stuff's going to come up, and so that's why you end up having the late nights, and then all these other bad habits start, is because once again, we as contractors, we weren't trained in the soft skills, we weren't trained in those areas on how to run a business well. We just know the hard skills, and so that's why we have our build association, right? To help contractors develop systems to help them get their business in order, so that they can actually be proud of what they've built instead of it running their life. Oh, I think we lost your audio, Will.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
All right. My battery did die up top, that I can see. But either way, we're on our last 2 minutes. So we'll make my point clear, and then you can probably close it off just in case the audio gets scratchy. But at the end of the day, people don't understand that contracting in itself can be simple. It doesn't have to kill your life. It doesn't have to kill those bad habits. It doesn't have to create more bad habits, you know, leading into working late, being stressed, not sleeping well, not eating well. And then it turns out that you end up gaining weight, you're feeling lethargic, you're feeling sluggish. All of this stuff, it's possible if you set up a plan. And a lot of it has to do with mindset. It's not the work. The work is the easy part. Doing a ceiling fan, doing an MPU, therapeutic.
Yep.
It's the work that goes into the mind that's going to allow you to define what type of habits you want, and your habits are going to determine what type of person you become.
Sure. I need to between now and Friday, I need to see if I can find a good book on healthy habits. I'll look into that
Oh,
for
heck yeah.
everybody.
We
Yep.
have
All right. Well, that's going to conclude our morning show this morning. I hope you all have a good, productive day and stay safe out there.